but there is a circle. Good morning from the Peak District. I parked at Barber Booth car park. For those of you who don't know, it's a very small car park, just a bit of roadside parking really, which used to be free and then they started charging, so it's now £6.60 for the whole day. So it's literally gone from being nothing to £6.60. It's only my second time or third time to park there since they started charging. I'm not going up Kinder Scout. I am doing something a little bit different today. Today's walk is one I have done before. It's a good one. And hopefully you'll enjoy watching. Interesting. I love a good walk where there's a nice, sharp, steep ascent near the beginning of the walk. And that's what we've got right now, as we're going to go up this path here, up to Roych Tor, and then we're just going to go down the other side. This is great. Well, that didn't disappoint. That was as steep as I remember. And now we've intersected with this, which is the Chapel Gate path. If you didn't want to take such a steep ascent, you could take this path, which is more gradual. Possibly going to come back this way. Pretty much at the top of Roych Tor now. The views in the other direction are starting to open up. You can also see quite a few people on Brown Knoll. The plan is to come back along there, check out some of the features on Brown Knoll. More about that later on, but for now we're going down the other side of Roych Tor. So there is a lay-by here, and there's a group of people, young people there, so I'm guessing Duke of Edinburgh's or Scouts or something like that. Right, well here I'm just gonna go off piste and do a little side mission. I've just found this straight away and very easily. Last time I came here, I spent a good 30 minutes traipsing around these fields trying to find this without success. But now it is actually shown on the map where the location is. I'm pretty sure when I was here before which was just over 2 years ago, it didn't actually show you the location on the map. It just simply said Cairn Circle without showing you where. But here we have it right in front of us. I don't know how easy it is to see, but there is a circle. I did check on the old maps, and this is not marked on the old maps, so this must have been fairly recently identified. But now I'm here, and again, I don't know how obvious it is when you look at this, but now I'm here and I can see this with my own eyes. It's very obviously a circle. So I'm just going to follow the circle round. We have some rocks. Here it's like we've got an entranceway into the circle. I can see another rock here. Another one there.
Right where my foot is. More up ahead. Up here.
It's so overgrown. There are rocks under this grass and moss. You can just see bits of them. But this is a cairn circle. I haven't done any research on it. I just know it's a feature on the map, which I tried to find before and I couldn't find it. And today, straight away, very easily, I've located it. But it will be Bronze Age or Neolithic. It's almost like there's a circle within a circle. It's like an inner. Oh, what's this? That's something. Yeah, so this is like a circle within the circle. There's the outer circle, and then this is the inner circle, and then you've got this, or whatever that is. I'm very happy I found this today. This has made the walk worthwhile already. I've got this kind of raised bit in the middle, right here. Just going over the outer circle. So there you go. This again, it would be better if I had a drone and I could take some aerial footage from directly above, and I think it will be a lot clearer to see. But there's an outer circle, and then there seems to be an inner circle as well. More defined on the other side, not so defined on this side. Last time I was here, I spent ages looking for that. I don't think I actually came over to this bit here, but I was all over the rest of the field looking for it, because I'm pretty sure the map at that point didn't show the location. It just said Cairn Circle in big letters, but didn't actually tell you where it was. So the Cairn Circle is just over there, and this here where all the trees are, This is called Knoll, and I suspect that is associated with the Cairn Circle, and that is an ancient site. Over there in the distance you can see Knoll. You've got this small section walled off with trees in, another one just there. I suspect there is a lot of ancient history in this area, and this is a bonus because the map doesn't show a path here, but clearly this is a public right-of-way or a concessionary path or something like that, but we can get through here, and there is something in this field I want to have a look at. I wanted to come into this field. I didn't think I'd be able to, but there's something of interest if we can find it. Here it is. So we can't actually get to it because it's all fenced off, but this is marked on the old maps as well as the contemporary maps. It has fairly recently, by the looks of it, been blocked off. But this is a well. This is an ancient well. And unfortunately, I guess all that stonework over there, all those stones, would have been some kind of structure around the well. But clearly that's completely gone now, which is really a real pity, because I wonder what it would have looked like. And then looks like they poured concrete around and put these lids over. It all seems a bit unnecessary, especially as it's all fenced off anyway. That's a real shame. I bet that was something to look at in the past. Another ancient pathway here. So back the way we came, just a little distance is the route of the tunnel. The railway tunnel, which is still in use. Yeah, I just passed it. I didn't even realise. Not sure I realised that was there last time I was here. I must have done, but I've completely forgotten about it. I'm not sure where that goes. Gonna go and have a look, I think. There is a spring over there. There are loads of springs and wells in this area. Interesting. So it just says access land. So it's not necessarily a path. It's just giving us a way into the access land. I think I'm going to continue to follow this track down because the views are better. What a great spot this is. So we've got a ford. This is Roych Tor, and this is the Roych. And that's where I went last time. That's where my plan was to go today. Last time there was a gap in the wall that I could easily get through to go up the Roych. It is access land. It's the same bit of land basically where we've just had that public footpath, or that stile, sorry, up there that led into this area. So I don't know whether that gap in the wall is still there. It looks like possibly a new fence has gone up. But the other option is to go up the Roych as opposed to Roych Tor. That I've not gone up before. But regardless, I do want to check out that ruin, which I definitely didn't go up to last time I was here. I don't know if we can get to it. There is a path that runs along this side of the wall. I don't know if you can actually get over the wall, but even if you can't, we can get a lot closer. But it is a lovely spot here. Okay, there is the gap in the wall. It's still there. It's not fenced off. From over there, it looked like it might have been fenced off, but it hasn't been. So you can still get up. And this is access land. There's a gate there. If you wanted to go up the Roych. Again, this is all access land. I'm not sure if I remember that bench being there last time. I don't think I came this far. I literally went through that gate there and then up and through there. I don't think I even necessarily noticed this bench. Every inch I climb up the old oak tree makes me realize how much nature means to me. So this has got to be the ruin of a farmhouse. Look at that view. So I have seen several groups of cyclists coming up this track. This track does lead up to Southhead, and I have walked along the track from that point, from Southhead, but not this section from the bottom of the Roych up to Southhead. It's not far, but this section I have never walked before. So I am tempted by the Roych, but I think I'm gonna go back to the fords and go up Roych Clough as I did before and as I did plan for today. Right, back down to this point here where the Roych and the Roych Clough intersect. It is coming up for lunchtime, and that bench there does look quite tempting, but this is quite a busy spot. There's quite a few cyclists that have come past. Just had a group of 8 of them, and then someone else, I don't know if he was part of the group or not, but someone else as well. So yeah, there's quite a few people passing by. So I'm going to go into Roych Clough and try and find somewhere up here. I don't think many people come up here. Well, I don't remember how I did this last time. The brook's down there. It's quite a steep drop down, and I'm just wading through this sea of bracken. Last time I did this, I can't remember whether I walked along the brook, whether I was up here somewhere, whether I was on the other side. I vaguely remember maybe cutting off the corner, but I really don't remember clearly. But one thing is for sure, it was May when I last did this, and the bracken wasn't anywhere near this high. Look at it. I can't say I recommend doing that. You'd be better off on the other side where there's no bracken. That section of the brook is really overgrown, and there's steep sides down into it. And obviously at other times of the year the bracken's not going to be so high and it's not going to be so difficult. But I finally got to this point where I can get to the brook and it opens up, and there's kind of a bit of a grassy area alongside the brook that I can follow. Unfortunately, it has started raining in the last couple of minutes. Just a light kind of shower. To be fair, this is what the forecast was for the entire day, so we've been really fortunate up until now not to have any rain at all. Yeah, probably just skip that bit out altogether and cut across until you get to this bit here, which I do quite clearly remember. Look at this. This may be a sheepfold. There's a gap there that's big enough for sheep to come through. There's this huge piece of rock, and then there's dry stone wall. Right, well, we definitely have some weather coming in. It's getting worse. That's Roych Tor. This up here, I think, is an old quarry. It's called Roych Tor. It's not marked as being a quarry or even a disused quarry on the old maps, but it looks very much like one. Last time I was here, I stuck with the brook and stayed in the clough. Today I want to come up and have a look. I need to find somewhere to have lunch, but I don't think I'm going to find any shelter. It definitely looks like a very old and quite large quarry, where they would have quarried the rock from the rock face. You got all these mounds of spoil. It looks pretty impressive. I have looked at this on the old maps and I couldn't find any ruins, anything marked, but there does seem to be something there and possibly something else over there. So I'm going to have a good look around. I might have to stop and get my waterproofs on though. This rain is just getting worse, and unfortunately there's no clear sky in the distance. "100% a quarry." So what I thought was possible ruin is actually just a part of the remnants of a dry stone wall. This rain is not letting up. I didn't bother putting my waterproof trousers on because these trousers are already soaked through because of wading through all this wet bracken. I've not had my lunch. I'm not going to have my lunch just yet. I'm still hoping that this is going to be a passing shower. I think we are going to have quite a few showers this afternoon. I think it's going to be pretty wet this afternoon, but I am still hoping that there's going to be some gaps between the showers. Possible partial ruin there. There must have been buildings here at some point. It's a little disappointing that there's nothing left. I think that might be something there. So I'm pretty high up above the clough now, above the brook. I've reached this. This is marked on both the old maps and the new maps. This is a sheepfold, the ruin of a sheepfold. Unfortunately, it's not giving us any, it's not offering much in the way of shelter. And this rain is relentless. It's just keeping going. And there's no sign of any clear skies in the distance. In fact, ahead of me is not looking great at all. Look at the rain. Look at the rain going up the clough. Look at the top of the clough. It's 12:30 now. I don't know what to do about lunch. I might just stand in the rain and have something to eat. And I don't know what to do about the rest of the walk. The original plan was to walk in Roych Clough, like in the bottom of the clough, and just come up to here, to the quarry, to Roych Tor, and then go back down again. But at this point, getting down there is not going to be that easy, and then I'm just going to have to follow the clough back up anyway. So it's just descending to ascend again. At this point, I'm kind of tempted to either continue to contour around from where I am, or even just to go up directly. Okay, so I've just stood in the old sheepfold and had my sandwiches. Not eaten everything I've got, but I needed to eat something. Visibility is getting worse, the weather's getting worse. I think I'm going to make my way up the side of the clough. I'm already a significant part of the way up the side of the clough. It just doesn't make sense to go back down and then follow the clough up. The Roych Clough itself, I have walked before. It's okay. There's not that much of any interest. There's no big waterfalls. There are some pretty cool views from the very top, but you're not going to get those views in this weather anyway. So I'm just going directly up now, directly up the side. It's pretty steep, it's pretty tough going. Right, in terms of ascent, I'm maybe about halfway up. In terms of distance, I'm maybe 25% of the way up. I've just had a look at the map. There is a dry stone wall marked on the map, which is going to be a bit of an obstacle. We're going to have to find a way of getting over that. And I expect once I'm on Brown Knoll, eventually, it's going to be incredibly exposed. On the plus side, I don't think it's going to be a problem getting over this wall. I'm starting to level out now, starting to plateau out at the top of Brown Knoll. Not that you can see very much. I don't know if you can make it out, but there's a row of very miserable looking, well, I'm assuming very miserable looking people, probably Duke of Edinburgh award people. So that's where the path is. I'm coming up to it. Weather's not getting any better. Need to be very careful where you put your feet, because it is levelling off, and that means blocks. Now there were 4 things I was going to show you on Brown Knoll. I don't think I'm going to be doing that today. Sorry, but it'll have to wait for a future video. I mean, one of those things, at least one of those things everyone will be familiar with anyway. Probably 2 or 3 of those things, maybe even all 4 of those things. I'll tell you what, put it in the comment section below if you can guess what the 4 things were that I was going to show. One of them's really, really obvious. Although we're very close to the path, we're not out of danger yet. I mean, it's almost stopped raining. It's just very foggy at the moment. We're just in the cloud, basically. But I think the rain itself has stopped. There are quite a few people ahead of me. I can just about make them out through the cloud. Would you believe it? I think it is starting to clear up. The sunshine over there. That is ridiculous. So the weather is clearing. I mean, perhaps the weather was never bad in the Vale of Ida. But the weather is clearing, so I've passed some of the points of interest. I'm not going to go back to them, but I will go over to one of them, and we might be able to see another one. So that's one of the points of interest I was going to show you. The most obvious point of interest on Brown Knoll, which is the air ventilation shaft for the train tunnel. I'm not going to go up to it. The original plan was to crisscross back and forth over Brown Knoll Plateau or Brown Knoll Ridge, whatever. It's quite a wide ridge. Don't know what to call it really, plateau or ridge. Anyway, the original plan was to crisscross back and forth over from one side to the other to point out 4 points of interest, and a couple of them we've already gone past and I'm not going back to. There's the most obvious one, the air shaft, and the one the one I'm coming up to now is the second most obvious one. But I do have something interesting to say about this, which I've only just found out. I mean, you may know about it already, but I've only just found out. This is the igloo shelter. I'm not sure when exactly the igloo was built, but I do have a little bit of interesting information about the history of this structure, or a structure here. I wonder if there's anyone inside. So I'd love it if someone could tell me a little bit more information about the building of the igloo itself. But when I was looking on the old maps, I saw a shooting cabin on this location, and I thought, I've never been to that ruin. And it took me a minute to figure out that this has been constructed from the rocks that were used for the shooting cabin. So when the shooting cabin was destroyed, someone constructed the igloo shelter instead. It's ironic that I've come over, and in fact the only reason why I've decided to come over is because the weather improved. I could have done with having this shelter an hour or so ago, but here we are. There is no one inside. Looking in the distance, I think the break in the weather is just a temporary respite by the looks of it. Anyway, let's have a look inside. It's a very low entrance a very low entrance. You do need to be careful when you come in, but once you're inside, you can stand up. Yeah, I would love to know the history of the igloo. I'd love to know at what point the shooting cabin was destroyed and this was built. I'd love to know who built this. But it is a great spot. It does actually provide a surprising amount of shelter from the wind, despite all the gaps. It's obviously stood for some time. Been here about 5-10 minutes now. No one else here. It's quite surprising. You can hear the wind outside. Interesting, obviously. Well, that is probably not a relic from the days of the shooting cabin, but this looks like a possible stone sink, unfortunately broken. So I think I'm going to take this opportunity to eat the rest of my lunch, because I only ate my sandwiches. I've still got a packet of crisps and a couple of donuts. Might only have one of the donuts now. These are the best donuts. So as you can see, there is another band of rain coming over. I can feel a few drops already. I reckon this is the original outline of the cabin. There are also the remnants of a dry stone wall. There's virtually nothing left, so I think they've used rocks from the dry stone wall as well as from the old shooting cabin to construct the igloo. Nice little pond here. Back on the path, just as the rain picks up again. Well, I'm back on the Chapelgate path that I was briefly on earlier. I think this time I'm going to follow it all the way down into the Vale of Edale. This is where we came up earlier. But we'll just follow the Chapelgate path down. I love these views. I think the views from here are massively superior to the views from Roych Tor. It's just spectacular looking at that low cloud rolling over Kinder Scout, rolling over the wall packs. Fantastic. Anyway, as you can see, I've now dropped down into the Vale of Edale. Rapidly coming to the end of the walk now. That walk didn't quite go to plan, but I still quite enjoyed it. It was good to find the Cairn Circle that I previously looked for and couldn't find. It was interesting to find the well, although it was very sad to see what condition that was in. We had a look at that interesting old farm building ruin on the side of the Roych. We went up Roych Tor and went up to Roych Tor. Clearly an old quarry, but must be a very old quarry. Slightly disappointing that there's no building ruins there. And at that point we had to change plans because of the weather. But we still got to check out the igloo on Brown Knoll. We saw the chimney, the air vent from a distance. There were two other points of interest I was going to go to. That was the original plan. If you think you know what those points of interest are, then pop it in the comments below. And then some spectacular views on the way back. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. And I'll see you next time. For years, this footbridge was closed.